All right, let's go ahead and get started, and people can keep joining. But I just want to introduce everybody to both of us. I am Katie. I am an admission counselor, but this, more importantly, is Rene Alvarez. You hopefully received some communications from him in the past, because he's a very important man, our director of advising, and he is the one who helps manage all your schedules, helps manage all of the wonderful Compass advisors that you guys will have this year. So Rene, if you'd like to go ahead and get started,
Sure.
and then we'll launch into it.
Wonderful. So I'm seeing all the questions that are coming in, and I'm going to answer them the best I can. I just want to review with you how it is that your schedules were built, and then I'm going to say a couple of preliminary things, and we'll go from there. And so just for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Rene Alvarez, and I am the Compass Director and the Director of Academic Advising, Academic Success here at Oglethorpe University. And so to put that in other words, I'm the guy who created your schedules. I'm going to be the one who's going to be building your first schedule here at Oglethorpe University. And so those of you who already have been able to look at your schedule, I wanted to explain to you how the classes were chosen and how you can look them up. And so all of you who deposited should have filled out a course preference form, and based on that course preference form, I enrolled you in some courses. And so all of you are enrolled in Core 101, which is part of our core program. And then your other courses are either major required courses or they're electives. Now, one of the things I want everyone here to understand is that although your schedule has been created, once you speak with an advisor who will be reaching out to you in the next couple of weeks to schedule an appointment, you can discuss your schedule with them. And after that discussion, you're going to be sent a link to a form where you can request a schedule change. But I want to make clear a couple of things first. I'm going to share my screen so that way you can see what it is I'm talking about. So for all of you, to earn a degree here at Oglethorpe University, you need 128 credits. And so those 128 credits consist of different courses and different parts. And so everyone must take core courses. Now that is 36 credits. No one is exempt from that as a first-year freshman. Everyone must take Core 101 in their first semester. And so depending on your major, you'll have to take either 36 up to about 70, depending on if you're a science or non-science major. And so that still leaves you around either 72 credits, depending if you're on the 36 major course range, or it's going to leave you about 35, 40 credits. And so the rest of those credits are going to take up your AP, IB dual enrollment credits. And those courses need to be, and those credits need to be sent directly to the university from the organization. So if you have AP scores of 4 or better, make sure that the College Board sends them to us directly. If you have dual enrollment credits, make sure the institution where you took those courses send your transcripts directly to us. Keep in mind that your schedules have been built based on the available information we have in the system. So if we don't have your IB, AP, or dual enrollment credits, we're going to create your schedule based on that. But of course, we have 2.5 months before the school year starts, and we can make it right. And so the remainder of those credits to satisfy your graduation requirements are going to be elective courses or your minor courses. So for those of you who are undecided or want to pursue an IPM, there's plenty of time to figure out what classes you need to take. The one thing that I want everybody here to understand is that every single class that you're enrolled in, that you're currently enrolled in, will count towards one graduation requirement or another. Every single class that you're enrolled in right now will put you on a 4-year graduation plan. And so with that being said, I'm going to roll through some of these questions, and I'm going to try to answer them the best I can. So those of you who have a schedule, you can see it in Oasis. If you go to oasis.oglethorpe.com, you can look at your student planning, and you can look at your fall 2020, and you can look at your schedule. In the next week or two, between June 23rd today and July 3rd, you're going to get an email from your MAP Day advisor that's going to tell you how to set up an appointment with them So you can review your schedule line item and go from there. And so, and that message was asked by Ashley. Declan is asking if there's a way to see what classes we'll have for both semesters of this year. Well, no, you're only going to be able to see your schedule for fall, but when it comes time to register for the spring semester, you will have met with your Compass advisor, and you'll have decided what classes are best for you, and you will be enrolling yourself in your own courses come the spring. And so each and every single one of you as a freshman is going to be assigned a Compass advisor. Now, this person is a staff member or faculty member on campus that's partners in meeting your essential learning outcomes and making sure that you're successful academically. And they're going to help you outline the steps for achievement for your personal and professional goals. Now, your Compass advisor is a one-stop shop. Any questions or concerns that you have, you can talk to your Compass advisor and they can help you with it. Now, the Compass advisor that is going to be assigned to you will happen sometime mid-August. So the person that's going to be reaching out to you in the next couple of weeks is someone on campus, a staff or faculty member or an administrator that's going to help you try to understand why you're enrolled in certain classes. So even if you're undecided with your major, you know, it's okay. Every course that you're enrolled in is going to count towards one graduation requirement or another. Now, keep in mind that we built your schedule based on what you put in the course preference form. So if you put something and you forgot that you had listed, let's say, for instance, you listed sociology and you forgot that you listed that and you're enrolled in a sociology course, I would invite you to broaden your horizons and step outside your comfort zone, because at the end of the day, you will have to take classes outside your major for you to graduate. And so I don't want you to feel uncomfortable with an elective course. And, well, I don't have any experience in a foreign language. I don't have experience with art. Challenge yourself to learn new skills, because no matter what you study, no matter what you do, every employer wants somebody that can think critically and solve problems. Every employer wants somebody that could work in groups, and every employer wants somebody that can communicate effectively. And so every class at Oglethorpe University is designed to build those skill sets. So electives don't necessarily have to relate to your major. This is a question from Serena. She asked, do electives really relate to your major? For example, I'm enrolled in a class that isn't related to my major at all, and I'm wondering if it's worth taking. I go, yes, it is. Because even all of you are going to be taking core, all of you are going to be taking a major course, but you're also going to be taking classes outside your major, because you need to take classes outside your major to earn all the graduation requirements that you need. And so let me go to the top here. So currently, if you're enrolled in an online course and you don't want to take an online class, you know, I want to highlight the difference between an online course at Oglethorpe University and elsewhere. You know, most other universities, if you take an online class, you'll have 50, 100, 200 people in the class. At Oglethorpe University, you will not have more than 20 people in one class. So you still have an opportunity to meet with your professors, to talk to your classmates and those kinds of things. And so even though all the classes, because of COVID-19, all the materials will be able to be accessed online, it's your choice whether you want to attend the face-to-face version of the class, or if you want to be in the comfort of your dorm room watching, you know, the class live as it's being recorded. And so you do have a couple of choices in that arena. Now, for those of you who are thinking about double majoring, I would focus on one major right now. And then when you get here in the fall, talk to your Compass advisor and you can discuss the ins and outs of doing a double major. Keep in mind that in your first academic year, in the fall and spring, no matter what class you take, it's going to apply to one graduation requirement or another. So there is space to do a double major. There is space to do an individually planned major, but that's something that you should reserve to talk to your Compass advisor when you get on campus, and also talk to the staff or faculty member that's going to be calling you in the next couple of weeks. So just so all of you understand, COVID-19 and the planning around this pandemic is something that is fluid, because we are planning our courses to be face-to-face, hybrid, or online. But things could change as we get closer to the semester. But I anticipate that given the amount of technology that we're investing in each classroom, the amount of technology that we're investing for your dorm rooms to access the course material, that your experience with each class is going to be unique and tailor-made to you. You're not just going to be a number in these courses. That's something I really want you to understand. For those of you who are science majors and you're only enrolled in a math class and not a science course, I want you to understand, for example, that those of you who are biology majors that are taking a math course, you do have an opportunity to take the math placement exam if you haven't taken it already. And if you have, you can take it one more time. But keep in mind that, like most universities, Biology 1 is taken in the fall, Biology 2 is taken in the spring. However, Oglethorpe University has combined those courses into one class called Biological Inquiry. So for those of you who have not been able to take, who were not able to take Biology 110 in the fall, you can take your introductory math course, and then in the spring, take that biology course and be right back on track with everybody else. So we want to make sure that all of you are prepared as you move into those science courses. If you have 2 courses scheduled at the same time, send me an email. I think that's something that we need to change right away, but that's something that we can easily change over the next 2.5 months. Keep in mind that once you talk to the faculty or staff member that will be calling you or contacting you in the next 2 weeks, after that conversation, you'll be able to submit a form requesting a schedule change, and then you'll be talking to me individually, and we'll work out a plan to make sure that you have the best possible schedule you can. But one thing I want to emphasize, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and take classes that you normally wouldn't take, because those are the kinds of courses that really speak to the heart of what it means to be a student. I can't tell you how many times in the years that I've been doing this kind of work that a student tells me, oh, I don't want to take this class, end up taking it, end up loving it. And so for you, my suggestion is base your decisions on the experience of actually taking the class, because you might think you know what you like, but have you had an experience that's been curated to help you make that decision? Make decisions about your schedule, about your college trajectory on an experience that you've curated for yourself. And we'll talk more about that during our one-on-one sessions. I see that someone has asked about what hybrid courses mean. And so hybrid courses mean that they're going to be conducted face-to-face. If you want to show up to the classroom and sit there with the professor and participate fully face-to-face in the class, you can. But for those of you who might not want to do that, or you're not feeling well one day, or you just want to stay in your dorm room, then you'll be able to access the course live through a webcam in the classroom and participate that way. So for some of you, you can either go face-to-face for every class period, you can go online for every class period, or you can do half and half. It's really up to you. We wanted to give all of you the power to take control of how you wanted to digest the information that's coming from the course. I just want to let you know that every single class and every single classroom will be recorded. You will be able to participate live if you can't make it face-to-face. I just want to make sure that all of you understand that it's your choice to decide how you want to pursue that. And you can talk about this more directly with the person you get in contact with in the next 2 weeks. So Compass advisors for your first academic year are some are faculty, some are staff members, but they're not in the major in which you declare. Because as a first-year student, academics are a very important part of what it is that you're doing at Oglethorpe, but also we want to make sure that you connect professionally, that you connect socially, and that you connect personally to other things outside of academics. And so when all those things are in balance with one another, you tend to be more successful in your studies. If one of those things are out of whack, then the success rate kind of decreases a little bit. So we wanted to make sure that you have someone that's well-versed in the courses you need to take, of course, but also that can connect you to the various things on campus to help you acclimate and become the best teacher you can become, right? So let's see here. All of you are asking lots of good questions, so just give me one moment. So I see that if you have an AP score of 4 or better, then it will count as course elective at Oglethorpe. But you need to make sure that you send those official scores from the College Board. In other words, if you have not sent it in and you're scheduled for a course that you should have received AP credit for, then make sure that you let the person know who's going to be contacting you soon. And that way they can put it on my radar and I'll take a look. Every week I'm looking at the schedules and I'm making adjustments based on AP scores that are coming in, dual enrollment credits that are coming in. For those of you in international baccalaureate schools that are expecting certificates, those should be coming in late July. So your schedule should be adjusted by then. Let's see here. So, you know, when it comes to majors, I want you to understand that every single person that highlighted a major or a primary academic interest, you're going to be taking one class in that. Now, it's safe to say that most first-year freshmen change their major a few times throughout the admissions process in the first year, and that's okay. We want you to do that because we want you to be able to make decisions based on you taking a class. You know, some of you who want to be a doctor, for the first time you dissect an animal or you see blood, you're like, I don't want any part of being a doctor, you know, but that was an experience that helps you decide. And so we want you to do the same for a lot of other things. So if you have an associate's degree or dual enrollment credit, make sure that you send that in to the admissions office directly from the institution. If you're able to do that, then you know, I will take a look at that, and your schedule will reflect that. There is an opportunity for you to do an individually planned major, like designing your own major. However, if that's something that we don't need to really discuss right now with your current schedule, because your schedule is created with your academic interests in mind. And so that's something when you get on campus for the first time, you can talk to your campus advisor. They can help you with that process. You have your whole freshman year to organize your plans for moving into your sophomore year. So keep in mind, I want to reemphasize that every class that you're currently enrolled in will count towards one graduation requirement or another. And you will definitely be able to, you know, pursue individually planned major. There's just a process in place for that that's better suited if you talk to your campus advisor once you get to campus. For those of you who can see your courses and not your days and times of the classes, you'll be able to talk about your schedule more intimately and more intensely with the person who's going to be calling you the next couple of weeks. And so after that conversation, if you still have lots of questions, I invite you to fill out that form that you'll receive via email from the admissions office requesting a schedule change, and then we can have a conversation one-on-one. So some of you have been scheduled for 8-week sessions, and so there's only a handful of you. And so the reason why is based on your academic interests and based on the times of your courses. Some classes will be conducted in the first 8 weeks, and another class will be conducted in the second 8 weeks. So instead of having 4 classes the entire semester, you'll have 3 classes in the first 8 weeks, and then when that class is over, then you'll substitute that for the other class. And so at any given time, you only have 3 working classes. And so that's something that I will be reaching out to every student that's enrolled in those classes, and I'll be talking to you directly in the next 2 weeks. So look out for an email from me sometime this week to schedule an appointment. Again, for those of you who have not set up your Oglethorpe email, please make sure that you're looking at that email every day, because you're going to be receiving information from someone wanting to talk to you about your schedule. That I think it's important that all of you get that one-on-one time with someone that can help clarify your questions. All right. Yes, you should be able to access those recordings of the classroom at any time in the Moodle page. We have invested heavily in beefing up the technology to make it easier for you to access these things. And so I'm very confident that you will have all the information and all the course materials you need to be successful in all your classes. Now, for the classes that are conducted online, yes, If you see a meeting time, the classes will be live during that time, and you can access the web recording. But if you can't make it to that class for whatever reason, then you're able to access that recording and then work on your own time, making sure that you do the work that's required of you in the syllabus. Let's see. Yes, you can pick. Now the thing is, I want you to understand, when you get that form requesting a schedule change, make sure you look on the schedule, the master schedule that's in oasis.overthorpe.edu, and make sure that you request a class that has an open seat. Now keep in mind, a lot of your electives were scheduled based on the availability of seats, based on the time constraints that you have. I tried to even out your schedule where some were on Monday, Wednesday, some were on Tuesday and Thursday. But when you start getting towards the end of the course availability, sometimes you'll be scheduled for 3 classes on one day and 1 on the other. It all depends on what seats that we have open. So make sure you do your due diligence. If you're having trouble finding open seats, then we can schedule a time where we can talk individually with one another. So if your courses have if the courses have a wait list, first-year freshmen are not allowed to get on the wait list, because I am scheduling your courses. I can bypass the wait list and put you in a course if there's an open seat. And so I talk with the professors every day, asking for seats and say, hey, this guy needs to get in psychology 101, let me have a seat. And so sometimes they are able to do that, sometimes they're not. But I make sure to that every schedule has at least 1 or 2 courses from your primary academic interest. Don't be afraid to take courses outside your major. As a liberal arts institution, we want you to be able to broaden your horizons and build those skill sets, so by the time you leave here, you'll find that great job right when you graduate, and then someone interviews and say, man, this person has all the skills we're looking for. Don't sell yourself short. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Trust me when I tell you that. Let me see what else I got here. So you're good there. Online courses from Coursera do not count as credits at Overthorpe University. Credits that are transferred to Overthorpe must be from an accredited institution or from an organization like AP scores, IB certificates, that kind of thing. Let's see here. Okay. So if you don't have a major or minor in a course that Overthorpe doesn't, if you want to major in something that Overthorpe doesn't offer, that's why we have individually planned majors. And so there's a process in place for that your campus advisor will discuss. And so it's all about finding a faculty member that will sponsor that and then curating coursework to do that. We have many majors in biopsychology, anthropology. There's been a lot of different kinds of things, and marketing, that a lot of different individually planned majors have pursued in the past. And so that is something that we can definitely talk about more in the fall with your campus advisor, and then go from there. Let's see. So your math placement exam and your language placement exam results, I've already looked at them. And your courses that you're enrolled in are indicative of how you scored on those exams already. Now, if you want to take the math placement exam for the second time, you can definitely do that. And that's something that you can talk about with the person who will be reaching out to you in the next couple of days. And so I don't think you need to worry too much about that. At the end of the day, all our courses are designed. If you can't take a science course in the fall, you have to take a math course, and you can take that science course in the spring and be right back on track. So I want to emphasize, none of you are behind in any way with your courses. Every course you're enrolled in has put you on track to graduate in 4 years and on your way to a great job. You can definitely take some marketing courses if you wanted to as a business administration major. As a matter of fact, we're working on a certificate in marketing that should be live sometime in fall or spring, so that it is definitely an option. And so a student athlete living on campus must be enrolled in at least 12 credits. most of you are enrolled in 16 to 17 credits. Some of you are enrolled in 14 to 15 credits. Full-time enrollment is 12 credits or more. As a student athlete, one of the things I've done is I got all the practice times from your coaches, and I scheduled your classes according to your practice times. And so if you feel there's a discrepancy, make sure you bring that up with the person who will reach out to you in 2 weeks, and then we can always discuss that. Keep in mind that we have 2.5 months to make sure that your schedule is perfect. And my job here is to make sure that's happening. The last 3 years, I've created well over 2,000 student schedules, and I've worked tirelessly with my staff to make sure those schedules are perfect come September 8th. And so this, you all are no exception. I will work with you and make sure that all your concerns and all your questions are addressed. If you have not filled out a course preference form, the students who've deposited with the intention of coming to Oglethorpe were sent an email for a course preference form. And based on that course preference form, I built your schedules. If you do not have a schedule or you have not filled out a course preference form, make sure you reach out to your admissions counselor so that way they can send you the link. And then as soon as I receive it, I'll build your schedule. So advisors between June 23rd and 24th and July 3rd should send you an invitation. If you have not received an invitation to talk to somebody by July 3rd, then I would suspect that on July 6th, that following Monday, you send me an email and I'll make sure to connect you to someone that week for sure. And so talk to your admissions counselor about that, and they'll give you my email, my contact information, and we'll go from there. You can see your schedules on oasis.oglethorpe.edu. If you look on, once you access that website, you use your email login information, then you can access student planning on the right side of the screen, and then you can see where your schedules are. If you need to change the day and time of a class, when you talk to the staff or faculty member the next 2 weeks, after you talk to them, then they'll put your name into the system, and then you'll get an email to your Oglethorpe email showing you how to request a schedule change. It is very important that all of you read your emails. You need to spend at least 20 minutes a day looking at your Oglethorpe email and making sure that you don't miss something. If you haven't received an email to request a schedule change after you've talked to your advisor in the next couple of weeks, then reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get that. I'm trying to get to all your questions, so if I'm talking fast and you're not catching what I'm saying, feel free to ask the question again. I'm going to stay on, a little bit longer after the scheduled time to resolve all of these things. So when it comes to finals, some classes, even though we have a finals week, some classes, especially for Core 101 and some other classes, most of your finals will be done before then. And then your final exams are usually scheduled during class times. And so that's up to the individual professor, and we should know more about those times in November. When it comes to a hybrid class, you have the option whether you want to come face-to-face or look at the materials online or look at the video or look at the class live. And so that's something you can talk directly with the professor and to see what their individual rules are. But for the most part, we want to make sure that we're flexible with you during this COVID-19. And we want to make sure that all of you understand that we want to make sure that your experiences as your first semester here are streamlined as possible and that there's as little roadblocks as possible. And so this is why we developed these several ways for you to access the course material. Believe me, larger institutions, their online courses have 50, 100, 200 people. You're not going to get that personalized service and be able to log in to watch the class live. And so Oglethorpe is committed to investing in the technology for you to be able to access this information. I'm not quite sure what Modern State's online course credits are. If that is a accredited university, then yes, we will accept those credits. If they're just an online forum where you can take training courses, I don't think that we accept those kinds of credits. But that's something that I would review with your admissions counselor just to make sure. If you took the language placement exam, even if you took the language placement exam, depending on how well you did on it, now, at Oglethorpe University, usually Spanish 101 is in the fall, and the Spanish 102 is in the spring, or German 101 is in the fall, German 102 is in the spring. If you place beyond the introductory language course, then you indicated language as an academic interest, then you will not be placed in the introductory course if you've tested out of it. And so again, that's something for you to discuss with your advisor that will contact you in 2 weeks, and then we can go from there. When it comes to a minor, I wanted to make sure that all of you were scheduled in a course that was a primary academic major interest. If you don't see a minor course in there, that's okay. You have 4 years to complete the minor. Minor courses are typically 4 or 5 classes that you can take over the next 4 years. So if you don't see a minor course on there, don't worry. We can always figure that out. However, if you do submit a course change request form and there's an open seat in a minors course, at the time I read your request, I'm happy to put you in it. It's just a matter of what's available and what's there on the schedule. So certificates are, programs where you take a specific set of courses, 4 to 5 courses, and then you earn a certificate in that class. There's a certificate in business analytics that's available for when you become a sophomore or when you become in the spring semester. That if you take several courses offered through the business department, then you can earn a certificate in that. If you have dual enrollment math credits, now let me explain how this works. The math placement exam will only exempt you from college algebra and pre-calculus. That won't exempt you from calculus 1. So if you have dual enrollment credits for college algebra and pre-calculus, then more than likely you don't need to take the math placement exam. If you have dual enrollment credits for calculus 1 and calculus 2, then yes, send those in because we want to make sure that you're taking the right class. When it comes to getting in touch with professors regarding textbooks, you can look at an online forum for textbooks. We have an online bookstore that you can search your class. I'm sure the host of this panel discussion will send you that information. I'll make note of that to send it to everybody. So just give me one moment while I make note of that. So we make sure that you can see that. Now on your schedule, it should be listed right next to the days and times of your course, whether your class is listed as a hybrid course or not. And so just take a look at your schedule through Oasis. If not, then the advisor that will contact you in 2 weeks will send you a copy of your schedule and you can take a look there. If you want to look at what courses are available and what seats are open, if you go to oasis.oglethorpe.edu and log in, and then you'll get 2 options, either plan your schedule or the course catalog. On the left side of the screen, you'll see something called the course catalog, and you can search for courses there. Let me see if I can log in and I can show you real quick. Just give me one moment while I take a look at this. Well, my screen's not working, so if you can't find the course catalog, just send me an email or ask your admissions counselor, and they can show you how to do that. There is a chance to graduate early if you take enough credits early enough and you take summer courses. That's definitely possible. None of your courses that you're enrolled in, none of you should be on a wait list. And so if you see that your classes, that there's a wait list, you are not on a wait list. There's no first-year freshman that's on a wait list. So if you think that you are on a wait list, email your admissions counselor, and they will contact me, and I'll take a look to make sure that's the case.
Rene, I have Oasis pulled up if you would like me to share what it looks like.
Sure.
So you can go through here, click on the program that you're interested in. So for example, business, click on the course where it says view available sections, and it will show each one, the location, whether it's hybrid or not, and how many seats are left in the course.
That's right. All right. Yeah, so for hybrid courses, I want to emphasize that if you want to come to every class, you're allowed to do that. If you want to come to every class, and let's say one day you're not feeling very well and you want to stay in your dorm room, you can do that. We wanted to give you multiple options for you to be able to digest the information in the course. And so if you want to go face-to-face every single class, then you're invited to do so. If you want to go one day of the week and stay one day away in your dorm room and you're under your covers drinking, coffee, then by all means do that. We want to give you the options in which you can engage the material through various platforms. Yes, if you do log in, you should be able to interact with the class. The professor will be able to see you and call on you if you have questions. And so, yes, you'll be able to interact with the class fully. So, for those of you who are enrolled in certain classes and don't want to be enrolled in those classes, talk with your advisor first before you submit any kind of request, because you need to talk to your advisor so they can give you that one-on-one unique perspective on why you're enrolled in certain classes. Some classes have open seats. I'm happy to switch you out. If there's no open seats left, then we have to try to figure out an alternative. At the very end of the day, you all have the power to request these changes and see what we can do. And if there's a seat, I'm happy to do it. But it just invites a conversation between us first before we go there. So given that we're starting the school year September 8th versus August 24th, we're starting 2 weeks later to give everybody a chance to get through this pandemic and to plan accordingly. There's not going to be a fall break. Theater rehearsals are usually in the early evenings. And so all your schedules, for those of you who are theater majors, you will be able to talk to the director of the theater program, Professor Huff. He has all your information. He'll be the one contacting you, and then you can relay those questions to him. Now, one thing I want to make clear to all of you are 17, 18, 19 years old. This is the first time you're in college. It's normal to feel overwhelmed with all this process. As a first-year freshman, being overwhelmed is already a normal thing, but you combine that with the pandemic, you combine that with the social unrest that's happening across this country, and you're coming in unlike any other class. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, and Oglethorpe University understands that. I understand that. The most important thing here is that you create that support network. I'm part of that. Your admissions counselors are part of that. The advisor that's going to be calling you. So don't feel bad about being overwhelmed. It's important that, you ask for help when you need it. It's important to tell us if you're feeling a certain kind of way. My job here is to never shake my finger at you and say, well, you should know this already. This is your first time in college. This is your first time for most of you being away from home, being away from your family and friends. It takes a lot of guts to do what you're doing. And the fact of the matter is that, you got accepted to Oglethorpe. You should be here. You're supposed to be here. You're qualified to be here. All of you are an important part of the Oglethorpe family. And, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. You can talk about this with your advisor who calls you in a couple of weeks. You can talk about this with your admissions counselor. You can talk about this with your compass advisor in the fall. All of you are invited to, just let us know, how you're going and how you're feeling and, the concerns that you have. There's nothing too small to talk about. If you're concerned about something and you feel, oh, that's a stupid question, I don't want to talk about that, don't be embarrassed to talk about it with someone that's here to help you figure it out. You're not supposed to do this alone. Let us do some of the heavy lifting for you. Promise? Okay. So when it comes to mask wearing campus and things like that, we are still in the developmental stage of what we're doing for the COVID. We have a lot of different scenarios, and those are one of the scenarios we're entertaining. Now, keep in mind that school doesn't start for another 2.5 months. And so if a month from now things change for the better, then we'll take that into consideration. If a couple of months from now things change for the worse, then we'll take that into consideration. One thing I want you to understand is that your safety and the safety of our staff and faculty are the most important things. And so we will have all the protections that need to be here on campus. We are designing things here on campus to make sure that you can operate and function safely here. We want to make sure that anything that you participate in, whether it's academics, non-academics, co-curricular things, whatever it is that you're doing, that there is something, a policy in place to help you. Now, if you're really concerned about the COVID-19 and the pandemic planning, make sure you bring that up with your advisor. They have a lot of information that's very useful for that. Let's see here. Now, if you decided to travel home for the weekend, 1 week or two throughout the semester, and wanted to access your courses that way, you're more than welcome to do that. So there should be no problem with that. Moodle sometimes gives you warnings that don't really apply to first-year freshmen. So if you look on, if you look on Moodle and you're trying to look for your courses, those courses for the fall will not be uploaded into Moodle probably until maybe a week before school starts. So don't look for your classes on Moodle. Look for your classes on Oasis, because your Moodle courses are still being designed. Look for your classes on Oasis. If you're interested about the books and that kind of thing, I'm going to be sending a link to the online bookstore to the admissions office. Don't buy your books just yet, because sometimes professors change their books a couple of weeks before classes. So I would wait until 2 to 3 weeks before classes start before even starting to buy books. When it comes to clubs and organizations, an important part of your Oglethorpe experience is that you participate in things outside of academics. And so yes, clubs and organizations are still going to be taking place on campus. Now the question is, how are they going to be taking place? Social distancing will be part of it. They might be taking place sometimes through an online forum. We want to make sure that everyone is practicing safe social distancing practices on campus. We want to make sure that you're not put in a situation where you're unsafe. So yes, clubs and organizations will still be taking place, that's for sure. So all the homework and all the things that are due for your class will be outlined in your syllabus. And so for the most part, yes, they will be turned in through Moodle, through links and things of that nature. Specifically how that's conducted from class to class rests with the professor. So I would wait 2 to 3 weeks before class starts, and then see or a week or two before class starts to look at the syllabus and go from there. Yeah, so every hybrid course has a physical place to report. An online course does not. If the course is fully online, then you can log in to see the course. Now the professor will be recording live. And so if your course, for instance, is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. and it's an online course, then you need to log in to that course at 11:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays to listen to the professor. And so even though there's not a physical place for you to report, there's a virtual place you need to report. Online courses at Oglethorpe do not mean that you work at your own pace. You need to still log into courses and things like that. But in case you miss a course, the recording of the class will be there for you to access later. If you don't see your classes on Oasis, then we're still in the process of building some of those schedules, and we're still in the process of getting seats to build your classes. And so send an email to your admissions counselor, and then they'll reach out to me, and then we'll take a look at it a little more closely. If you're not a math or science major, you don't have to take the math placement exam, so don't worry about it. So one thing I want to relay to you that I think this applies to everybody, don't, there's always a fear of missing out. And you want to take, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 credits. You don't need to do that. As long as you're taking 12 credits at least, up to 17 to 18 credits. Some of you might be taking more if you're a science major. Don't worry about that. Every class you're currently enrolled in will keep you on track to graduate in 4 years. Every class will apply towards your degree. So don't worry too much about that. If you want to do only online courses for the first semester, you can. But if you're not scheduled in an online course, then you can fill out a course preference form. But if there are no seats and online courses available, we might have to reevaluate that. I think I got every question so far. Hold on. Is there any other question here? Hold on. Let me see. Okay, we have a couple. So your professor syllabus will be on the Moodle course page about 2 weeks before classes start. So if you don't see it on there, then you can always email the professor directly and they can send it to you. I wouldn't worry about being cleared for registration on Oasis because, as you know, I'm the one building your schedules. So you only need to be cleared for registration when you're registering yourself. And so don't worry about that. If you can still see your schedule under fall 2020 classes. Some of you I know are taking one summer class. That's fine. But you should be fine with that. You can access your online courses anywhere on campus. We're investing in areas in the library, other places on campus with strong Wi-Fi and internet connections. So you don't have to necessarily be in your dorm room. If you want to access the course, you can be anywhere on campus. If you want to be in your car, in the parking lot, and access it while you're listening to, feel free to do that. So when it comes to computers based on STEM versus business, it all depends on what courses you're taking. For those of you who are taking Introduction to Programming, you might want to have a little beefier computer. But that's something that that's outlined in the syllabus, 2 to 3 weeks out. If you're worried about that, ask your admissions counselor, and they'll connect you to me, and then I will get the professor to reach out to you. For those of you who've indicated majoring in dual degree engineering or biology or chemistry, an engineering, physics, or math professor, or biology professor or chemistry professor will be reaching out to you in the next 2 weeks because STEM requires a little more extra help. And so for those of you majoring in theater, your theater professor is going to be reaching out to you. For those majoring in the humanities, a lot of faculty and staff who are well-versed in those courses are going to be reaching out to you. So whoever is going to be reaching out to you in the next 2 weeks is well-versed in how we conduct our courses here and how the liberal arts education works here. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So someone asked about the arts program. And so the arts program is not available to you in your first semester. The arts program is you have an ability to take courses. For those of you who are doing an individually planned major, sometime in the spring or in your sophomore year, you may be able to take a course through the arts program where you take a course at a different institution and it applies as overflow credit. But that's something you need to worry about in your first academic year. Oglethorpe University, I have to look at the requirements for CLEPS because I think they might, but that might have changed. So hold on 1 second while I look that up. Let's see here. So for certain CLEP examinations, let's see. I would reach out to your admissions counselor and talk to them specifically about which courses you've taken via CLEP, and then we can go from there. So if you go to, let me see if I have it here. I'm going to look for a list of student organizations right now, so just give me 1 second while I take a look. So if you go to, all right, hold on a minute. Here we go. Can I send this to everybody? Sure. So if you go to this website, you can look at all the student activities and things like that, and you can find out about that. Ooh, I feel like I talked for like an hour, and I answered well over 83 questions. And so I'm going to answer a few more.
Another resource you can use to check out what clubs we have is something called OU Connect. It's just connect.oglethorpe.edu, which has a really exhaustive list of all of the organizations we have and little blurbs about what they do.
Okay. So what core classes are required for? In your freshman year, you should take Core 101 in the fall and Core 102 in the spring. When it comes to your sophomore year, you'll take Core 201 in the fall, 202 in the spring. Then your junior year, you'll take 301 and 302. And then every student is required to take a fine arts core that some people take at any time throughout your career. Some of you will be taking that in the fall, either music, art, or theater. Some of you will need to take a math core, but that you won't have to take until your sophomore or junior year, and then a core science course. All first-year freshman students and all Oglethorpe students must take every single core class. But we don't ask you to take it all at the same time. You take it sequentially and build up to each level every year that you're here at Oglethorpe University. Are there any final questions before we cut loose here? So again, you're going to be contacted by someone in the next 2 weeks to schedule a meet and greet, to discuss your schedule, and to discuss other questions you may have. You know, this is the time for you to ask anything and everything that you need to ask. I really appreciate all of you, and I want to tell you that I know this is an exciting but scary time for you, and I'm here for any questions you have. I promise you that I will do my best to make the best possible schedule for you. I really do appreciate all of you, and I really enjoyed answering these questions, and I expect nothing but greatness from each and every one of you. So please keep an open mind when you talk to your advisor the next couple of weeks, and we'll go from there. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much, Rene. We greatly appreciate all of your help. Again, everybody, contact your admission counselor if there's some transcripts or test scores that we need from you, or anything else like that. And again, you will be talking to your advisor soon. So any of your schedule concerns, definitely talk to the advisor about that.
I have one more thing I wanted to say to you. Today is my birthday, and I wanted to let you know that, you know, I really enjoy talking to students, and I feel like this is a really good present. So I really appreciate the time everyone took today to log in. If you need to talk about something very specifically, feel free to email me, and I'm going to put my email here. Email me here at compass@oglethorpe.edu. Wait until you hear from your advisor before you email me, okay? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.